Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube. I'm here to give a review of To Benight and Beguile, written by John Philip Betancourt. This is Chapter 8, Book 6, The Fall of Troy. So, for those who have been following along, this is a really good story, and I do want to talk about a lot of what happens here because it's so good. I really, really, really enjoy the castle setting because it's something different than what we've seen at Terramore, where Terramore is a house you can come and go. Siphonage Castle is not. And it's very creepy. But what you have here in this chapter, if you will, Evie and Sebastian's relationship has gone in a very downward spiral. Sebastian does not believe Evie side of things or even see her side of things. From the two characters' standpoint, to give sort of the yin and yang, if you will, Sebastian in this chapter does not believe Evie. And the reason, and I'll get back to Sebastian in a moment, but the reason what Evie is expressing to him is, look, this is not going to end well for me or our son. This woman who you believe in, whose words you don't doubt, you don't question, she's going to kill us. And what will happen then? What will you do then? And that's something Evie asked very point blank to Sebastian. But because the darkness has returned to Sebastian, he's not really listening. He says, "You're jealous," and she smacks him. And this is a realization of Sebastian. Okay, Evie does not love me right now. She's very angry at me. And I think to play devil's advocate, I'm going to play devil's advocate for Sebastian, for a vampire. But to play a bit of devil's advocate, Sebastian's family, his uncle Jacob, has been very deceitful toward him. He's he knows how he got to be a vampire, and he knows what caused it. And his living with his own family to him is really no longer an option. Meaning, living at Terramore, where no, Evie wasn't living at Terramore anymore. She was living at another house where the house his mother lived in when she died. Now, she didn't die in the house, she died on the beach. She was murdered by his uncle Jacob. But Sebastian wanted one thing. He wanted him and Evie to be a family. But Evie told him, hey, don't force anything. I want to focus on our son. I don't want to focus on you. I don't want to focus on Matthew. She was solely in the middle of two men, but to her focus was on one very special little boy, her son. And I think you not only get that in this story, you get everything so well laid out. And I applaud John for how he does this because it's heartbreaking to see, but you applaud Evie for making this stance. She knows her life is in danger. Sebastian can't see it, but you also understand Sebastian's reasoning. It's what separates antagonist from shades of gray characters, where Sebastian is not a full-blown antagonist. He's doing something from a reason for not just himself. Yes, he's thinking of that, but he's also in his mind, this is the best course for me, Evie, and my son, our son. But and Evie is telling him, no, it's not. And who's right? Evie's right. This is, and again, John did Return of Dark Shadows. You can really tell why he wrote Barnabas so well. To me, he wrote Barnabas as well as the original writers did. And that's the best compliment I can give somebody. Um, I really, though, a little bit of a spoiler, Synad dies in this. Evan, before she dies, you have to understand, Evan is not a fan of Sebastian because he is jealous of him. He's jealous because the female vampire who was in love with him is now Sebastian's her favorite. Dominique is favoring Sebastian because of the mixling, because of Gabriel, Sebastian and Evie's son. And Synad is very cocky and confident in her abilities. And I'm going to get into why I feel Synad dies here. Why Evie is able to kind of overcome the vampire a bit. Synad's very cocky and arrogant. She's very sure of her own abilities. Evan is, you're playing with fire. Meaning, if they get caught doing something, especially her, they could be in trouble with Dominique, with the entire vampire clan. Because again, there's everybody in Siphiniach's castle. I bounced it to Shaw's castle. It's the Shaw family. Isn't necessarily blood related to Deshaw, but they were turned by Deshaw, if you will. They were turned by somebody who was turned by a Deshaw. So Siphiniach Castle is the castle. I almost call it Deshaw's castle, but it kind of is. They've been living in it for a long time. So Evan is kind of like rolling his eyes at Sebastian, like, Jesus Christ. Like, he wants Evan to Evan wants Sebastian to get to, he doesn't care. He feels Sebastian's overrated. He looks at Senate like, get over this guy. Like, seriously, like, whatever. But again, he doesn't want the problems that Synad, his twin sister, is going to bring down on them. But Synad talks Sebastian into giving her the key to Evie's room. I do like that Sebastian is actually listening to what the vampires are saying to him, to the degree of he's listening to their words a lot more carefully in this chapter a bit, in my opinion. He's kind of catching on, okay, maybe there is more here to what Evie's saying, but it's after the fight him and Evie have. Maybe I might be misreading that. I might be. The bravery of characters who are mortal, not just Evie, but Matthew and Hope. Matthew and Hope are all aware of the dangers they face. What they may not be aware of is the nun who is helping them seems to have a deeper connection to the Deshaws. They have hinted that she'll finish them off, that maybe she's leading them into a trap. Now, is she? Is the question. Now, I love what John does here because he doesn't directly answer that. Yes, Matthew and Hope are headed into Siphiniach Castle. Hope was afraid. Now she's ready to face those fears, and so is Matthew. Matthew's not afraid. Matthew just wants to get Evie and Gabriel out at all costs, and not necessarily lose their lives. And again, is Anna a turncoat? It suggests, I love, again, great writers suggest, they don't always give away they hold that until they're ready to reveal it to you. This is what I mean. Like, John isn't telling me Anna is bad. It was suggested Anna could be. Is she? We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Oh, she gave the sign of the cross. She could be good. She could be bad. There's a middle of the road here. And John isn't necessarily leaning one way or the other as a writer, in my opinion. And that's what makes a great writer. Okay, do you understand now my reasoning why I say don't, if you have a character that you don't want to give your audience away, you don't want to give away to your audience something, leave that character there and let them wonder until you're ready to reveal it. That's this. That's what this is with Anna. And it's very, very well done. This is my favorite part, the closing, because I get to talk about a girl fight. A girl, well, one mortal, one immortal, one mortal, one immortal. Well, Evie and Syned. Now, why was Evie able to fight off Syned, a vampire? In my opinion, because Syned gets impaled on a candlestick by accident through her chest and dies, bleeds out and dies. Because the vampires in the Cyphinich castle under the Shawls are very spoiled. They're given their blood. They don't have to fight for their meals. They haven't had to fight for their meals in a long time. They haven't had to have a literal person fight them back. And they've gotten so, in a weird, Disney tried to build this story around Star Wars where the Empire got fat and lazy because they were just ruling over everybody. John does a better job of painting that here than Disney ever will, because that's what I take away. They're so used to being handed their blood, they haven't had to fight for a meal, literally fight a person to drink their blood. And now, because Syned hasn't had to do that in a very long time, now she has to, and it's why she's unable to, because Evie throughout her life has had to be fighting constantly, turned around and fighting. And that's the key difference in this, and why Evie overcomes Syned. Very, very, by the way, just very. And you get Evan, you do get Sebastian defending Evie by the end of this, saying Evie would never kill somebody in cold blood. She was, he's suggesting, more than suggesting, Syned most likely started the fight. So Sebastian seems to be coming around. The question is it too little, too late? And now you have Evie, who's looking for her cousin, Roman. Go check out To Be Night Beguile. Very, 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 very well written. Very entertaining. And doesn't, again, I don't know which way Anna's leading. And that's what I mean. More writers need to do this. When they're doing a movie, when they're doing a story, you don't have to take every character and tilt them one way. Leave, again, even if Evan is, hey, we need to not do this, whereas Syned is, we need to do this. But I wasn't expecting Syned to die. Okay. Great job. Great job. Fucking awesome. Amazing story. And I enjoyed the hell out of this. Reading this today. I know I didn't do a read along, but I'm giving you a review that to me, you need to go read this and see how good read how good this is. This should be on TV because it doesn't give everything away. And to me nowadays, television is too worried about approving shows that give too much away. So, you guys have a nice day.